Alrighty, we are live. So we'll wait just a couple of minutes or seconds. See if anybody hops on. Okay, cool. All right, Shannon, we have some people on. We are going to maybe give like 30 more seconds just to give some more people a chance to hop on. But hi. We're so excited you're joining. If you're watching the replay, still continue to comment because we can go back and answer comments. And if you are on, we'd love to see who it is. So let us know who's on, where you're watching from, and we'll get started. I don't know if I can see comments.
I know. I feel like I have to like hit this chat and then for the comments. So I mean, you could do it on your phone, but it's like you're like this.
Yeah, I know. So if y'all have comments or questions, we can get those answered after, because we're gonna go ahead and get started. Okay. So me and Shannon have been talking quite a bit over the past few days, and just really trying to get our mindsets right. Because hey, okay, I can see chats now. I mean, I can see comments. Okay, hey Christy. So because we're coming up on conference, we are 1 month out from conference, and whether you are watching virtually, online, or going in person live with us, which we're so excited about, it's going to be such a huge event. And it really is a pivotal moment in our year. And I know a lot of you, you were new last year, so maybe you didn't watch conference virtually last year, whatever it may be. Maybe you haven't been in person. This is your first time coming in person. There is so much to take in. It's a lot, and it's really fun and exciting. But just us being a month out, we really wanted to help prepare you guys and talk about exciting things. I did get word that there's just going to be some huge announcements. I don't know personally the announcements, but I do know that they're going to be big and exciting. So we had like 5 points that we wanted to talk to you about. And yes, we called this breaking news, and we wanted to build the excitement up because it is so huge. I don't think we realize how big it is to hear from home office like we do during conference. We really get to see the vision that the company has for us at conference for the rest of the year. They even tell us, a trajectory, is that the right word, for even the coming up years. So it's really, really big. So this is big news, and we wanted you guys to hear it from us, build that excitement. So I'm going to first talk about just being a month out of conference, kind of what you can expect at conference, and maybe you didn't even register. You guys, that's okay. If you didn't register and you're watching, you are still going to get some stuff out of this, and we're going to be as quick as possible, but because you're going to still get all the news announcements, all the vision that the company has, we're going to relay that to you guys. So whether you signed up or not, you still need to watch this, and you can get some stuff out of this. But conference is going to bring news announcements. They always talk about new products, new releases. I think in that one we see even the fall line. So it's really fun to see everything that they have prepared for us as far as product. But it's also when they announce incentive trips. So we're going to have an incentive trip coming in the next year. They'll talk about where we're going and the how to go, how to earn it. And then, like I said, they talk about the vision for the rest of the year. And you're going to hear me say vision probably 10,000 times because this is really important, and it helps us figure out what we need to do for our personal business when we know what home office has planned for the entire company. And then obviously you get training, so much training. I mean, all the obviously all the big guest speakers, but then the stylists themselves who are going to train us on all the different topics, and we'll have access to all of those after conference. So even if you don't get to see one that you wanted, you'll eventually get to hear from those stylists and get to take all the notes. But that's kind of what you can expect for conference and what it looks like. Now Shannon's going to talk about kind of how to prepare for that over the next month to get us to conference.
Okay, so I obviously agree with everything Jackie said. To me, conference, obviously if you're new and you hadn't had the opportunity, to plan and all that, totally fine. you'll know, you'll be like, oh my gosh, next year I'm going to be there. Because it's a non-negotiable, and it really is just such a transformation time, growing time, flourishing time in your business. And for me personally, like, I don't have just this list of things to do to prepare. I mean, obviously, if you're going live to conference, you're thinking about what you're going to wear. I know we have an Orlando chat and an Orlando page, and I'm sure over the coming weeks, people are going to be chatting all of those types of things. But for me personally, when it comes to just preparing for what conference will bring, it goes down back to my mindset. And just preparing my mindset for all of the information we're going to gather. I think anybody can agree that's been, especially live to conference, and even I can attest to last summer when they did it online. It's very emotional. It's a lot. It's just exciting. It's like an emotional roller coaster. It's like super, super exciting. Then there's a whole lot of information, and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do with all this information? And something I've learned after going to just different conferences, even just with different direct sales, is don't come home from conference or be done with conference and think you have to implement every single thing that you just learned. You can take just bits and pieces, because I think I've done that in the past where I've like had a conference or done a conference, and even not even just direct sales related. I've been to women's conferences and marriage conferences, and have come home almost feeling a little like defeated in a way, like a little just so overwhelmed. So I've learned over time of doing and going to conferences that I don't have to implement all of the things. I just need to make sure my mindset's right going into conference, that I'm ready to soak in all of the things. Of course, you're going to need notebook and pen, and be prepared physically. But mentally, it's just so important to know, like, you do not go into this conference coming home thinking you're going to do all of these things. Just write down the bits and pieces. There'll be things that you already know, that you already do, and then, just let that go in and out, and just soak in the things that you 100% want to implement into your day-to-day business. I know the keynote speaker has a book. I was actually going to get my team to read the book, but on Amazon, there was only like 3 left when I went to shop it. But I really would like to listen to her book or read it. It'll probably be listening to it, since it's hard to actually get a physical copy right now. But maybe listening or reading her book, especially if you're not going live, and you have that time during even that weekend. So that is on my goal list in my preparation, is to hopefully listen or read her book. So yeah, that's all I got as far as preparing for conference.
Yeah, and that's good. And that kind of leads me into my next point, because we didn't really even talk about this, Shannon, together and what we were going to say, but I mean, me and Shannon both have been to our fair share of conferences. So we've done one in person with Color Street, obviously virtual last year. And then together we have done another direct sales company and had been to multiple conferences. So you are hearing from people who know what it's like. But so this month leading up to conference, we talked about like what to expect with conference and then how to prepare. But how does that ultimately affect our business? Shannon, do you know the name of her book?
I do not. I cannot remember the name of it.
We can share it. We can figure it out and share it. And I can say the keynote speaker spoke at, and it was virtual, spoke at our leader conference. Oh my gosh, is she the most energetic? Like, her energy is so contagious, and you just love everything she says. She's incredible. So we will find that out and we'll share it, because I think that's a great idea. I really want to do that as well. But how does this affect our business? And especially in this month leading up to it. And because home office is going to give us a big picture of where the company's going. But then it's up to us as individual stylists to figure out how is that fitting into my business. Okay. So we're really going to figure out, it's not up to us as stylists to figure out where the company is going, but it is up to us to figure out how to get there, because it's going to look different for everybody, right? So how to get there, the how to, you're going to learn a lot at conference. Like Shannon said, there's so much to learn. So take notes. Take all the notes you can, but don't get overwhelmed, because you're going to sit there and take notes and you're going to think, my gosh, do I have a lot to implement? Or my goodness, there's so much. How do I do it all? Okay, so just enjoy the process, enjoy learning, take all the notes that you can, enjoy the announcements, but just try to compartmentalize, I guess, while you're there. I want you to be in the moment and take notes. And then, like Shannon said, when you come home, I highly recommend taking a day to get a babysitter if you have kids, to maybe ask your spouse, hey, can I take like Saturday afternoon and go to a coffee somewhere where you are not going to get interrupted, and take that time to go back through your notes and find like one or two things to implement. Not everything, but just like one or two things that you can implement, and even maybe do like a timeline. So my biggest thing to encourage you guys to do is obviously schedule your conference time to be off for that, and then maybe a couple of days after, schedule a time that you can really go back and look at your notes and figure out what all you want to implement. Kind of take it like one thing at a time. But like I said, home office is going to give us all the vision and what they have for us. And then it's going to be up to us to figure out how does that fit into our business and how to get there. And we'll do that all together. We will have probably multiple Zoom calls or team calls after conference to do that, to figure out how do we do this. Now that we know where the company's going, how are we going to do it and make it work for our business? Okay, Shannon, I think you have one more point to talk about, things to consider as we go into conference.
And not even into conference. This is just like I guess just a moment of reflection. I've been personally like just reflecting, and I have my team. Let's see if I can get this book without knocking over my phone. Reading the book right now, and we're just really, really working on our mindset. Because I'll say it a million times, like, this business is simple, but it's not always easy. And I feel like the hard part of this business comes in to play when it comes to our mindset. And really, really, I shared that quote. Of course, I didn't write it down or anything, so I don't even remember what it said. But I shared that quote over on the Flourish page and my team page, about kind of staying in your lane and what that really means. And, how to avoid comparison and all of these things, because you're going to be on so many emotional roller coasters throughout conference, but also outside of conference time, in direct sales. And keeping your mindset right is key. To me, I personally believe, like, it does not matter how, educated you are in the algorithms of social media, how good of a seller you are. None of that compares to how your mindset is. And just keeping your mentality right. You're going to see a lot of different people on different journeys within Color Street or even outside of Color Street. And just really, really focusing on where you are in your business and yourself, and not to like start having this mentality of the grass is greener on the other side, because that's not always going to be the case. We have to always be sure, one, I'm a firm believer that you have people in your corner, that you are circling up with like-minded women, and that you are talking daily. Like, to me, that is so, so important. So be sure you have those people. Obviously, if you can circle up with some girls that are in the Color Street realm or on their teams, that obviously is fabulous. But circling up with those people, and then putting on your blinders when it comes to what other people are doing. I think especially as women, we are so, so good at, watching other people. I was having a conversation the other day about like with some friends about like what our weaknesses. And I really was trying to think hard. Not that I think I'm like perfect or anything, but I was really trying to think of like what my weakness is. And I came to the conclusion that my weakness is personally distraction. Like, distraction, and it can come in so many different forms. Social media can be a distraction. Somebody else can be a distraction. So, because it's when I hit distraction that I become wasteful of my time, wasteful of my energy, wasteful of my mindset space. So distraction is my weakness. So I have to be sure, and that's when the enemy, I'm sure there's probably a lot of Church of the Highlands people on here, but he was talking about how, when you hit your weakness, that's when the enemy can come in and sweep you out from under your feet. And it's so true. When I'm distracted, my business shows, my, my being a wife, I'm, distracted in that and distracted in motherhood. All of these things, I can allow the enemy to come in. So, if distraction is your weakness, you just kind of have to figure out how to navigate through that. And keeping your blinders on is key. And you're just because you have your blinders on doesn't mean it's gonna be perfect. Like, you're still gonna have those distractions. You're still gonna look in the other lane and say, "Oh my gosh, she's doing that. Am I in the wrong spot?" Or you hear things. I know, you hear different people and they'll have different ways of wording things that make something else seem like maybe it's more exciting than where you're at. But if anything, if you can just pour that energy instead of worrying about what they're doing or overthinking what they're doing, maybe thinking you need to begin to do those types of things, put that energy into yourself and where you're at right now in Color Street. And if you're putting that energy into Color Street, I'm a firm believer this business works for anybody. It's just a matter of having your mindset right and pouring into yourself, so that you're able to pour better into your business.
Yeah, that's good. I think sometimes people see leaders, or even let's take home office. Maybe you even see Mr. Park and you think, gosh, they know what they're doing. They probably have no struggles. But we're all in this thing called life, and we all have completely different things that we want out of the business, and then visions for what we want for our life. So it's really, like Shannon said, so important to put those blinders on. And you're going to see people, come in and out, and you might question, like, am I in the right spot? And I want to encourage you. We have, I think we have, and I can say this, I promise, with so much trust in the company, and I hope you trust us, but we have one of the most incredible companies in direct sales. I've seen them all. The new ones popping up. I've seen it all. I know what they offer. And I can tell you that we have the best company. We have one simple product, okay? So tell me your favorite thing about Color Street, whether it's the product or the company. Like, tell me one thing that you love that is your favorite thing, because for me, it's the one product. I am selling one product that's consumable. They have to come back and purchase literally the next time they want to change their manicure. And then, sorry, someone just came in and it completely distracted me. But if I can tell you anything, it's the confidence I have in this company and in Mr. Park. He could have sold the company so many times before he started Color Street. Everybody wanted Color Street, or not Color Street. At the time, it was in Cocoa or whatever, but everybody wanted this product. Everybody wanted to buy this from him and take it and make it their own. But instead, he had vision for what he wanted. He wanted to create a company that would allow him to not just have to be on a shelf in a store department, but to also be able to help us, the people sharing the product. And now we have the opportunity to build these mega businesses if we choose to. So being confident in the company that we're in is huge. And I really think conference is going to nail that in for us. So with that, think about Mr. Park. Think about, if you don't know his story, go to the app, watch the video. It's in like the intro training of the app on training. So watch that, get inspiration from him, and then be excited for what's to come next month in conference, and make sure that you're talking with people. Like Shannon said, get your pod, continue to talk to them, and really kind of start to put on that CEO, like girl boss mindset, because in a month we're going to have all these things that we can use to like really boost our business, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. So I'm excited.
I'll add, no matter if you are going to conference live, doing it however you're doing it, it is such an opportunity to share the opportunity. So don't just like ghost out and pretend like you're like living in a hole going to conference. Like, share about it. Get together with a couple girls, get matching t-shirts. I had my girls, if you have teams, like I had my girls, whether they're going to conference or not, they all bought t-shirts that I found on Etsy, and we're all just going to wear them and take pictures. And that way the people that are virtual are feeling it too. So be creative with your teams, or if you are just by yourself, chat with your upline. I'm guaranteed if you reach out to your upline and be like, hey, what can we do to make this like unity during conference so we can have just some content for social media, because it is such an opportunity to share the opportunity and to plant little seeds here and there, like whether you're going or not. There's so many fun things you can be sharing for sure.
Yeah, that's a great point, because people I think excitement is contagious, and so when you're excited, other people get excited. And when you're kind of like, oh, I've been doing this. Say you've been in this for 2 years. Oh, I've been doing this for 2 years. Like people, they feed off of that. Like, be excited. And I go through that with my business. I'm sure Shannon can attest to it too. Like, of course we all go through these rough spots, or when we're not feeling it, or when we're bored, or we're just not motivated. Obviously we do, but put on some music, get excited. We have an incredible business and a company that is like debt-free, so stable. We have one of the most stable companies in direct sales. It's going nowhere. So be excited. That excitement is contagious, and if you have a team, it'll flow down to your team. If you have VIP groups, it's going to make them excited about what's to come, and they're going to want to hop on the train, because this train is going somewhere. We are on it. You can get on it if you want to. If not, that's fine. But I'm excited. So excited. And we really hope this next month that you continue to build that excitement up until the point of conference, and then also after conference, because there's going to be a lot to do. So anyways, well, I think we're done, Shannon, unless you had anything else.
Done.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. We are going to, don't forget, well, first of all, a couple announcements, and then I'm going to hop off. Check your emails if you haven't, because in my opinion, we're about to launch I think we say this every mini launch, one of the best. There's sports overlays. I love the Is it back?
Yes, back.
Okay, sorry. I had a phone call. Anyways, so there's that, and then we're having bingo tomorrow night with the team, so make sure you can just search bingo in the team page, and I'll bring up all the information. That's going to be fun, prizes, stuff like that. Anything else that you can think of happening this week?
The birthday.
Yeah, Saturday, right? The 12th, Coach Street's birthday, so don't forget about the party booking thing that's happening. Check your emails for that if you haven't seen that. I think that's it. Okay, guys. If you have team members who couldn't catch it live, make sure that they can they know they can watch the replay with the same link. Other than that, we'll see y'all tomorrow night during bingo. I hope y'all have an awesome day. Thanks, Shannon. Love you. Bye.